All right, here we go. We are looking at problem number 1. And my other number that I need for this is, we're in lesson 1.7. So 1.7 and problem 1 was 17. All right, and we're supposed to solve this using a matrix. So let's first talk about what we would maybe be able to do for solving it by hand. So if I went like x plus 5y equals 8, let's say I wanted the y's to cancel. So I'm thinking about multiplying the second one by a 5. So I'd have 10x minus 5y equals multiplying by 5, 25. And now if I add these together, that's 11x. Some of this just ends up being somewhat similar to what we do in the reduced row echelon form. So that's kind of what I'm trying to demonstrate here a little bit, is we could do this. That's what, 33? And divide by 11x is 3. So that would be like a 1, a 0, and a 3 if you were going to solve it like that. But if we're going to do it just with matrices, so I've got the 1, the 5, and the 8. I've got the 2, the -1, and the 5. Put the brackets around there if you want, just to show it's a matrix. And then, so again, if I want this first one to, I would want a 0 here where this 5 is. And so that's where I would do something like, I'm going to multiply this whole right here by a 5. So I've got 10, -5, and this 25. And so when you added these, when you add them together, you've got an 11, 0, and 33 in that top row. And I'll leave my 2, -1, and 5 like they were. And so then if I divide these by 11 up here to get this first row in the form it needs to be. So I've got 1, 0, 33 divided by 11, 3. And then it's just a matter of, well, what do you want to do next to get I'm kind of thinking the one I would work on is probably, we want a 0 here. So if I put a -2 here, multiplied by a -2, that would be -2 plus 2 would be 0. 0 and -1 would still be -1. And then 2 times 3 is -6. -6 plus 5 is -1. And leave the top row the way it was. And divide the bottom row now by -1, or multiply by -1 on these. So my top row still stays like that, 1, 0, 3. My bottom row then becomes like that. So that's how you can do it with an equation like we've done many times, with matrix, or let's keep this original. I think I'm going to be able to see this green top matrix up here. And let's see, I'm going to switch us over to Desmos, and let's put it into Desmos. Let's see, where's my, maybe I don't have Desmos open. I'll do that quick. All right, so we're going to switch back to desmos.com. And then up at the top of there's in Desmos, where it says Math Tools. There's the matrix calculator. Get that open. And then we wanted a new matrix. we had that green matrix and it had 2 rows and 2 columns that were 1, 5, 2, -1. It's just the left side that we put there. And then I need the answer matrix in 2 rows and 1 column. So to change my dimensions down in the bottom. And when you do that, my answer matrix was the 8 and the 5, I believe it was. 8 and a 5. And then if you remember how we did this on the last example, down on the bottom, we put in our A inverse times our B, and it tells the answer of 3, 1. Hey, look, 3, 1. I do believe that that's the same answers we got when we did it with the matrix. And we were well on our way when we were solving it over here. We had X, we would have plugged that into one of the equations to get the Y. But that's how you can do that problem. Matrices, equations. Now, when you get bigger than 2 equations, like 3 variables, 3 equations, then and 4 variables, 4 equations, that's where the matrices and the technology really start to shine for you. You don't want to mess with that stuff doing it by hand. That can get pretty gross. So good luck.